What the fuck is up, everyone? Prism Meddler here. I'm back with a brand new album review. Today we will be reviewing Soulfly's 13th studio album called Chamas, which was released today. And as you may know, Soulfly, for the most part, pretty much have an up and down discography. For the most part, like they have a few bad albums here and there, especially with their last album. And they got some great ones too, like Enslaved, Dark Ages, Archangel, Conquer, some great albums. Now, I've said this before and I say it again, out of all the Max Cavalera projects, such as Sepultura, Cavalera Conspiracy, Nail Bomb, Killer Be Killed, or Go Ahead and Die, Soulfly is my least favorite out of all the projects. I pretty much explained it on my Ranking Every Soulfly album. Now, as for their new album, I would pretty much say it's pretty experimental for the most part, but I do have some flaws about this album. It's that I just don't like, they still have this echoed vocals from Max Cavalera. But, however, I will say this album is better than Totem. The album opens up with Indigenous Inquisition, which is an instrumental track. It pretty much opens up the album. It's probably a heavy track with tribal elements with extra percussions and stuff like that. It's pretty much a build-up for the album. Now we got Storm the Gates, which I did do a mini track review on, and it kind of brings back this old school Soulfly vibe to it, like especially with the first debut album. It kind of has a bit of new metal elements. And I've heard some people say that this is like a return to new metal form, which, not really. I mean, it's just that song, and the rest is pretty much its groove, thrash sound to it. But overall, I do like this percussion sound. It does has a bit more groove and thrashier stuff. I kind of say it's kind of the same level as Ritual type sound to it, but it's a solid listen, and Max is not very echoey in this track, so, which is pretty much, I kind of consider this album to be better. Alright, then the next track we got is Nihilist, which I also did a mini song review on. It's kind of the same opinion. I thought the track was okay. It's a lot thrashier tone to it. I do like the outro to it, but my main problem is it went back to echoed production. Like, I'm not saying Max sucks at this album or anything. It's just his vocal production is what irritates me. That's too echoed, and I'm just not feeling it whatsoever. But as far as the instrumentation goes, it sounded pretty good. As for No Pain Equals No Power, which features Ben Cook, Dino Cazares, and Gabriel Franco. On the chorus, I guess it's either one of those two singing on there. I do like the chorus. It kind of has this the echoed voices on the chorus fits well with whoever is sitting on there. Dino Cazares, who was from Fear Factory, he did the guitar solos on there. It's kind of like my same opinion with Nihilist. It's thrashier. I do like the tribal stuff on the outro. Again, with my only problem is echoed from Max Cavalera. I just not a fan of it, and I don't really need to. I really shouldn't have to repeat myself, but it's a solid listen. I just don't like I just don't like Max's echoed vocals. Next up is Henna, which features Michael Annett, or how to pronounce his last name. He's the guitarist from Arch Enemy. I'm just not going to say anything about the echoed vocals, because my criticism. I do like the thrashier tone to it. It kind of reminds me of Molotov off the Dark Ages album. It's got some great solos throughout towards it. Anyways, I do thought it's a really thrashier tone, despite being under 2 minutes. Like I said, I kind of compare it to Molotov. It's a really hard-hitting track, very thrashier too. Probably the thrashiest song that's on the album. Now, next up we got is Black Hole Scum. I was about to say Black Hole Sun, which is sound by Soundgarden. It's got a lot more it's a lot groovier tone to it, with a lot sludgier riffs and stuff like that, especially on the doomier breakdown towards it. I thought it's a really solid track with the guitar hums and stuff like that. So, it's a pretty solid track. Now, as for Dystopia Valviv / Dystopia, for some reason it kind of feels like an industrial tone to it. Like, it reminds me of KMFDM / Ministry feel to it, with a thrashier riff, with some grooves, like, towards near the outro. It kind of feels like it's Nail Bomb, Max's other side project. Now, as for the next track, Always Was, Always Will Be, which is feels like an interlude type track with all this tribal stuff, with this avant-garde feel to it. I think Max is singing this in Spanish, whatever he's singing about. I feel like an interlude track, which leaning onto the instrumental track called Soulfly 13, which is an instrumental track. It's just like the other Soulfly title tracks on there, which is another solid listen. And then we got the final track called Chamas, which is a lot thrashier, speed, similar to the early Sepultura stuff, with some of the tribal elements, with extra percussion, with a tribal outro to it, with this little industrial sounding to it. But yeah, guys, as for production-wise, the album in general, I would say it's a lot more experimental than the last recent Soulfly albums. Probably their most experimental one since Dark Ages. I do like the concept of the album and stuff like that. But the only thing that really bothers me, like I said before, the echoing the production on this album, like, especially the vocal production. Like, who the fuck produced this album? Fire his ass. Get his ass out of here. And there are some moments where it gets too echoey, where it sounds like the guitar riffs are humming throughout the album. And yes, sometimes it may work, and there are sometimes that it doesn't. So, yeah, guys. As for songwriting, the songwriting's great. It's a lot better than it was on Totem, which Totem feels like the songwriting sounded rushed. But as for this album, it sounded like it took a lot of time and effort, and I feel like they should have sounded like that ever since Mark Rizzo left the band. Like, whenever Totem came out, it felt like they lost their sound. But since Mark Rizzo has been in Soulfly for a pretty long time, for like almost 20 years. And then until this album came out, they started to develop their sound, like, with the more tribal elements to it, with a thrashier tone to it. I feel like they've kind of build their sound again. I am going to go for a very strong 2.5 to 5, maybe slightly lean towards a 3 to 5. The main reason is for that is because I just don't like its production. Well, it may mostly the vocal production. Like, just stop with the echo. Like, it kind of gets really irritating. But overall, it's an alright album. But I will say it's definitely better than Totem, and it's definitely an improvement. Like, Totem, I would easily say it's their worst album. I mean, it's not terrible. It's nowhere near the level of, like, albums like Saint Anger, or Illid Divinum Insanus, or Lulu, or Catharsis. But overall, but Totem is still pretty bad. But as for Chamas, it's an improvement, but the album could be a lot better. Plus, the album is way too short, like at 32 minutes, and this beat Archangel's record for being the shortest album. This is now the shortest album at 32 minutes, which I guess maybe record another song and put it on there, because I feel like this album is too short where it comes to a point that I may consider this as an EP. I don't know. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much my review for the new Soulfly record. What are your thoughts on this album? Do you like this album? Do you not like this album? And what else you want to hear from me? But yeah, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more content. Check whatever those videos are popping up on the screen. And I'll see you guys next time.